Sorry, because of the power issues, I was unable to join the session on time, but this will not be repeated again. So now, in the last session, what we have discussed. Okay, in the last session, what is the agenda? So what we have seen in the last session that we will check out here, and then we will go ahead into the concept. So in the last session, we discussed about, excuse me. In the last session, we discussed about, so what are the tools that you are going to learn in this entire concept, and how these tools are helpful. So why we need to learn this course? What is the necessity of learning this course? And what is CI/CD and what is CI that we have seen, and what are the tools that we will use in the CD continuous delivery, like Terraform, Ansible, Docker, and Kubernetes. And then we have seen the basic concept of this servers, how physical servers will be looking like, and how we are going to manage the virtual machines, and then how we are going to work with the Docker containers. Okay, these are the things that we have seen. And what is the pre-requirements? So to learn this course, what are the pre-requirements that we want? So that I have explained you. So you need to have a basic knowledge on AWS. Why? Because the major work that we are going to do will be on the AWS environment only. So it is very mandatory to have the knowledge on AWS. And then we have seen the syllabus, what we are going to cover in the entire in this entire course. Okay. So this course will be like 30 days of sessions, and there are
I
no
have one
holidays.
question here for timing. I can see that there is one more batch, 7 p.m. is going to start. So that this batch will be for 1 hour or how will be
That
like?
I said you, this batch will start at 6 a.m., 6 p.m. Okay, the batch will be starting at 6 p.m. That batch we will see later. Okay, so this batch will
No,
start at 6
actually,
p.m.
that is starting from 5th of February, I think.
I know I am the one who has provided the timetable, but that batch will not be at 7 p.m. That will be merged into the 6 p.m. Okay,
Okay.
right. So this is about the entire concept that we have discussed. So now what we are going to do here is, first of all, let us understand the infrastructure related configuration. What is this infrastructure and how we are going to work with this, and what Terraform, or else how we are going to work with the Terraform. To understand that, first of all, you need to understand some concepts related to what I can say, AWS environment. How many people know about the AWS environment? Can you please tell me?
Yeah, I
Where-
know AWS.
Mhm. What do you know about AWS?
Like we have EC2 services. There are different services like
Mhm.
EC2 IAM, RDS,
Mm.
PBS, and S3 and VPC. Out
Mm.
of these services which we are maximum using, we are using EC2. Under
Mhm.
EC2, we can create servers. We can manage autoscale.
EC2 itself is a server configuration. Again, what is EC2? That will comes under the compute.
Right, Elastic Cloud
Okay.
Compute. Yes.
So now AWS. So what we are going to do here is, first of all, let us understand the VPC configuration. What is this VPC and how we are going to work with the VPC? Manually, let us create the VPC, and the same infrastructure, how we can create with the Terraform. Let us see that. So to understand this concept, so first things first, what you need to understand here is, you need to have the basic knowledge on the networking. Okay, networking in the sense, what is the IP address? If I have to say, just follow my instructions, you can blindly follow my instructions. Whenever, if I go into the AWS environment, and when I go into this VPC and say that I'm going to create a VPC. So when I click on create VPC, I will provide the name for the VPC. And what is this CIDR? What is the CIDR?
Is a IP range.
IP range. What is CIDR? Okay, so here you will have that questions. What is the CIDR? IP range, it's not a proper answer. So CIDR means classless inter-domain routing. So what is this IP range and how we are going to work with that? That we will see now. So I don't want to get very in deep into the networking. So that is a different topic. But here, whatever the VPC that we are going to discuss, VPC means virtual private cloud. Okay, so when you see here, whenever we are discussing about the clouds, there are three types of clouds are available. One is the public cloud, and the other one is the private cloud, and the final one is the hybrid cloud. So these are the three types of clouds that we are going to have. Now, for example, if I say public cloud, what is meant by a public cloud? Public cloud.
We can
First of all,
access from the internet, public cloud.
First of all, what is meant by cloud?
Nothing but a geological region. We cannot able to touch. That means it is a imaginary
Virtual infrastructure.
virtual. Yeah, virtual only.
Virtual infrastructure. Okay. Cloud is a service. Cloud is a service or service provider which will provide the services like EC2, or else which will provide the services like servers, databases, storage over the internet. So simple answer, what is meant by cloud? So every day to day we are going to use the cloud itself, right? So what is meant by cloud? It is nothing but it's a service provider. Cloud is a service provider. What services it is going to provide? So it will provide the services like servers, databases, storage, and serverless architecture. There are so many other services that are going to be provided. So Ritesh Sharma. So these are the services that are provided by the cloud over the internet. So if we have the internet, then through the internet we can access these services. So this is called as cloud. Okay. Now what is meant by public cloud? So public cloud means it is the cloud which can be accessed by anyone over the internet. If you have the internet, simply if you are having an account, so then you can access all the cloud services. The best example of public cloud is AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle, VMware Cloud. So like that, we are having so many different types of public clouds are available. So with the help of these clouds, what we can do, we can simply log in into the account and we can create the resources inside that particular cloud. We can create the resources. Now, what is meant by a private cloud? So private cloud means it belongs to an organization.
Through VPN we can connect, right?
Not through VPN. It belongs to an organization inside which we can have the infra. For example, there is an organization called as TCS. Just I am giving an example. Infosys, Wipro. Like that, there are so many different types of companies are there. So these companies are the service-based companies. So if there is an IT company, so inside this IT company, what we are going to do? Mute yourself. Inside this IT company, there will be so many developers will be there. These developers are going to develop the application. When they develop the application, they don't want to deploy this application in a public cloud. So for them, what they will have here is, they will have a data center. For this MNC companies, they will have a data center. What is meant by a data center? Data center is an entity. Data center is an entity where you can have the huge physical equipment will be there. Physical servers, firewalls, networking devices, server devices. Like there are multiple types of servers are available. Tower servers, rack servers, blade servers, firewalls will be there, routers will be there, switches will be there, networking cables will be there, which are helpful for connecting all the servers. And there will be racks, server racks will be there. So like that, you will have a data center. So now inside this data center, what we are going to do, we will be, or else we will be purchasing the physical servers, and these physical servers are going to be installed inside the racks. Whatever the racks that you are seeing here, inside this racks, we are going to install the physical servers. Okay. And these physical servers are now, with the help of virtualization, they are going to divide it into the virtual servers. So yesterday, in the yesterday session, I have discussed, no? So all these physical servers are now divided into the virtual machines. And now what will happen, whoever are the employees that are working over here, they will be given with a software. What is the software? The software called as OpenStack. Have you ever heard this software name? There will be a software called as OpenStack. So right now, everyone are using the public cloud only, but so these employees, whoever are working inside the company, if they want to create a server, they can use the OpenStack application, and with the help of OpenStack, what they can do, okay, they will have a console, just like your AWS console. Their company will have a console for OpenStack application. So if you see here, OpenStack private cloud console. This is how it will be looking like. Okay, so there will be OpenStack will be there, where they can access the applications, or else where they can deploy their physical servers. Okay, there will be dashboard. Inside the dashboard, they will have the compute, block storage, everything will be there. So which means that a private cloud is a type of cloud which will be having the infrastructure within their organization. So this infrastructure will not be shared with any another organizations, with any another individuals, or else any another organization. Only this IT company will be using that particular infrastructure. Then that is called as a private cloud. So why we need to have a private cloud? For every organization, they need to secure their environment. I don't want my servers to be exposed for each and everyone. So I want my servers to be privately and safe and securely it should be there. So that is the reason why we are going with the private cloud. So the private cloud is a type of cloud. It belongs to the single organization or a single individual, where they can deploy their own infrastructure, and inside the infrastructure they can create their servers and they can run the applications. Okay, so this is called as private cloud. And now what is meant by hybrid cloud? Hybrid cloud is a type of cloud which will be having the connectivity between the public cloud and the private cloud. Public cloud and private cloud. So what is this public cloud and private cloud? How many people has worked under the banking sector? I mean, I'm not talking about banks. I'm talking about banking application.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. So when you work with the banking application, RBI has a guidelines. What is the guideline? The main important guideline. The main important guideline of RBI is that the user data should not be stored inside the cloud. The user data should not be shared with any another region. RBI guidelines for data storage. Here you can see data localization. All the payment must be stored only in India. So in AWS environment, you will be having multiple regions. You will have US East 1, US East 2, AP South 1, AP South 2, AP Southeast 1. So like that, there will be several regions are available. But what RBI is saying? RBI is saying that the user information should not be stored in any another region. It should be stored only in the Indian region itself. So which means that either you can store the data in the Mumbai location or Hyderabad location, or to make it more secure, what you have to do? So the bank will have their own servers. Inside the servers only they can store the data. I'm talking about the data. I'm not talking about the application. So for example, if the user has an application, or else the user want to access the application, banking application, this banking application can be deployed inside the cloud environment. So there will be web servers and there will be what I can say, there will be the application servers. So the web servers and application servers can be running inside the cloud environment. But whatever the data that we are providing, whatever the data that the users are providing, the data should not be stored inside the cloud environment. The data should be stored in the physical environment, that is like in the bank or else in any another data center inside the India only. So then what we have to do here, the applications are running in the cloud. Here our bank applications are running in the cloud, and the data has to be stored in the on-premises environment. On-premises environment in the sense inside the company. Now what I have to do here? So then we can use the hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud is a type of cloud which will be helpful for connecting both the public cloud and the private cloud. So the on-premises environment servers. So this servers has to be connected to the public cloud servers. How they can be happen? So in AWS there is an concept called as AWS Outpost. So with the help of this AWS Outpost, what you can do? So this is the AWS Outpost, just looking like a rack. Okay, so this is how the AWS Outpost will be looking like. So the AWS people will bring this outpost and install it in our company. So with the help of this outpost, what we can do here is we can connect our EC2 instances to the local storage or else local servers. Okay, so here it is establishing the connectivity between the public cloud and as well as the private cloud. This type of connection is called as a hybrid cloud configuration. So here you can use the VPN also, virtual private network. Okay, here you can use the VPN to connect to your servers. Without the outpost also, you can connect to your public cloud to the on-premises environment with the help of VPN. Or else you want to have the low latency and instantly you want to transfer the data from the cloud environment to the on-premises environment, then you can go with the outpost. So these are the benefits of having the outpost in your on-premises environment. Okay, so this is the hybrid cloud.
సార్ స్మాల్ డౌట్ సార్ ఇప్పుడు హైబ్రిడ్ క్లౌడ్ అన్నారు కదా, ఇప్పుడు హైబ్రిడ్ ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ విపిఎన్ అనేది మన లోకల్ డేటా అంటే ఇన్సైడ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ ఉంది అంతే కదా సార్?
The data is present inside the organization.
అదే సార్, విపిఎన్ ఉండేది ఇక్కడ మన డేటా సెంటర్ ఇన్సైడ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్.
VPN is
ఇది
not
క్లౌడ్
required. VPN is not required. When you are having the outpost, then directly what is going to happen? Your cloud will be connected to your on-premises environment without VPN. If you don't have the outpost, then you have to establish the VPN, site-to-site VPN connection. Then you have to connect your on-premises environment to the cloud environment. Okay.
అప్పుడు అది కూడా హైబ్రిడ్ అవుతుందా సార్? VPN తో కనెక్ట్ చేస్తే కూడా హైబ్రిడ్ అవుతుందా?
Obviously. So you are sending the data. So the client is sending the data to the cloud application. Okay. The client is sending the data to the cloud application. The web applications are running in the cloud environment. And this data is traveling from the cloud application into your on-premises data store. So where the data is getting stored? In the on-premises environment, right? Where the applications are deployed. Applications are deployed in the cloud environment. From cloud, you are connecting to your on-premises environment, means the data is traveling from the cloud to the on-premises. Then obviously it is called as a hybrid cloud. Okay.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు నా MySQL లో స్టోర్ చేసుకున్న నా డేటాని EC2 సర్వర్ కి నేను కనెక్ట్ చేస్తాను త్రూ వయా సైట్ టు సైట్ VPN కానీ అలాగా, అంతేనా సార్?
Exactly.
Advenced. Thank you.
Right. So that is about your hybrid cloud. So now if you see here, we have the hybrid cloud, private cloud and public cloud. These are the three different types of clouds that you are having. So the next one is whenever we are working with the public cloud. So what is a public cloud? A cloud or else the cloud which can be accessed by anyone. For example, if I am having an AWS account, I can create my servers in the AWS environment. If you are having an AWS account, you can create the servers in the AWS environment. So you are creating the servers, I am creating the servers. So everyone, so there are some millions of AWS accounts are there inside the AWS environment. When there are some millions of AWS accounts are there, how we are going to differentiate that this particular cloud or this particular servers belongs to me? Okay, so not only that, depending on the account ID, we can segregate that these servers belongs to this particular user. Okay, that's fine. But now, for example, in my account, so I am the infrastructure vendor for the multiple small scale companies. There are some small scale IT industries are there. So they want the infrastructure and I want to provide the infrastructure to those small scale industries. So for example, there is an ABC industry is there. Okay. There is a company called as ABC, which will be working on the, for example, they have the transport or else a travel application is running. That's the travel app. And there is one more company called as XYZ. Okay. So I'm just giving a small example. It is also a travel app company. Okay. So just like your Redbus and Abibus are there, no? So just like that, there are two companies where they want to deploy their application inside the AWS environment. So what they have done, they approached me for the infrastructure provisioning. So what this ABC company is saying that ABC company is requesting for the server creation in the AWS environment. Nowadays, no one is approaching like that, but I'm just giving an example. So now when this ABC company approaching to my Polaris company, so I want to create the servers to run that particular travel app. So I want to run this travel app inside the server. So or else I can call it as an EC2 instance, server or instance, both are the same. Okay. So in the same manner, this XYZ company also came to the Polaris company. They want to run their travel app inside an instance. Okay. So now what is my question? When we are running both the application inside the servers, okay, in my AWS account, is there any chance that there will be a privacy issue? Try to understand. Here, this is my AWS account. Okay. Inside this AWS account, what I have done, I created a server. This server belongs to the company ABC. Okay. And this server belongs to the company XYZ. Okay. Is there any chance that these two servers might have a connectivity and they will communicate with each other? For example, let me give a small example. So you want to construct a home. You want to construct a home. So now you searched for a land. You have find out a land, a very good land, and the plat is very good. So now what you will do? You will purchase some square feet or some square yards of land. Okay. So when you purchase that land, so how you can say that? So there are so many plots are there on that particular land. So on that venture, there are so many plots are there. So from this particular area to this particular area, this belongs to my land. How you are going to say that? Do you understand my question? Can I repeat it again?
Borders will be boundaries.
You are going to put a milestone boundaries, right? So depending on those boundaries, you can say that this particular place belongs to me. This particular land belongs to the other person, right? So if you see that land will be publicly visible. So everyone can come and watch the land. But how you are going to segregate that this piece of land belongs to me? You are going to put some milestones or some boundaries. In the same manner, so if there is an ABC company is there, so this ABC company, we want to run some servers inside the ABC company and we want to run some servers in the XYZ company. So then what I can do here, I can set up a boundary saying that inside this boundary, whatever the resources that are getting created, those resources belong to the ABC company inside the cloud environment, inside the public cloud. We are going to segregate the ABC servers by setting up a boundary, isolated boundary. And here also for XYZ servers, XYZ resources, we are setting up a separate boundary. So this is called as an VPC. What is VPC? Virtual Private Cloud. So just to forget about virtual. What it is saying? Private cloud. What is meant by a private cloud? Private cloud is a type of cloud which belongs to a single organization. If you see here, we are setting up a boundary for a single organization resources, no? So then it is called as a private cloud. So how we are doing it? We are not doing it physically, but we are doing it virtually. So that is why it is called as virtual private cloud. So inside the virtual private cloud, we are going to set up a boundary, and that boundary is called as a network boundary, which will be isolating the resources of one company or one organization with the another company or another organization resources. So that is called as VPC. So if you see, look at that. A VPC is a logically isolated virtual network within AWS cloud where you launch your resources, giving you complete control over the virtual networking environment, similar to the traditional data center, but with the cloud scalability. Just like how you are having the data center for your organization, in the same manner, in the public cloud, we are going to create a network boundary, so that inside this network boundary, we are going to create the resources like EC2 instances, databases, and elastic block storages. Everything can be configured inside this VPC itself. So this is what we call it as a VPC. Okay. Do you understand what is meant by VPC? Any questions here? Any questions? So here in AWS, it is called as VPC. In Azure, it is called as VNet. In GCP, it is called as GCP VPC, or also Google VPC.
నెట్వర్క్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం అంతేనండి. సారీ.
Yes, inside the cloud we are
కంపెనీలో మనం నెట్వర్క్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం, అలాగా క్లౌడ్ లో క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం మనం.
Exactly. Okay, the cloud is an public cloud belongs to everyone. So when public cloud belongs to everyone, so I want to segregate my particular servers. If I want to segregate my particular servers, then what I have to do? I need to create a network boundary. So that network boundary is called as a virtual private network, or else virtual private cloud. Okay. So this is about your VPC. So here you can see we are going to set up the network boundary. So now what is meant by network? What is network? Can anybody tell me? What is a network?
Interconnected computers.
Okay. So what I am saying here, there will be a VPC. Inside the VPC, we will be having so many servers. Okay. For example, if you take this as a VPC, inside this VPC, I can create so many servers. So server 1, servers are EC2 instances. Okay. Server 2, server 3, so server 4, like that I can create multiple servers. So all the servers are interconnected with each other. All the servers are interconnected with each other. So this is called as a network. So 2 or more devices that are interconnected with each other through a media is called as a network. Okay. Through a media is called as a network. Media, either it might be a wide media or wireless media. Okay. So now if I have to define this, devices that are connected with a media, either it might be a wide media or wireless media. So it is called as a network. So now what is meant by networking? Transferring of data between the devices is called as networking. So if I want to transfer the data from this server to, from this EC2 instance to the another EC2 instance, so then it is called as networking. So network and networking. Okay. So now how the data will be transferred from one device to the another device? What is the requirement for transferring the data from one device to the another device? Okay. So let me give you a small example. You have a mobile phone. So that is a device, and your friend is also having a mobile phone. So 2 devices are there. These 2 devices are interconnected through the wireless network. So through the cellular network, both are connected with each other. Now, if you want to talk to your friend, what is required for you? You have both are having the mobile phones.
Network only.
Network is there.
Yeah.
Network is there, but still you want to communicate. If you want to talk to your friend, what is required?
Recharge.
Recharge. If you have the recharge, that's okay. If you don't have your friend's mobile number, is it possible for you to talk with your friend? So you need to have a mobile number, no? So in the same manner, if one computer
Endpoints.
wants, yeah,
Endpoints.
it's not endpoints. If one computer wants to communicate with the another computer, definitely what we need to have, if one server wants to communicate with another server, we need to have the IP address. We need to have the IP address. Okay, without IP address, the communication will not be able to establish, just like your mobile numbers. So every computer will have the IP addresses. Okay. So now, what is this IP? IP means Internet Protocol. Everyone will say that. IP means Internet Protocol. So now, what is meant by protocol? Protocol is nothing but the rules and regulations that are going to be discussed. How data can be transferred from one resource to the another resource is called as a protocol. So here, IP means there are two types of IPs are available. One is the IPv4 addresses and the other one is the IPv6 addresses. In the current generation, still we are using the IPv4. Of course, IPv6 also came into the picture, but still we are using the IPv4 only. Now, what is this IPv4 address? IPv4 is a 32-bit address. IPv4 is a 32-bit address and IPv6 is a 128-bit address. Okay. So now what is this 32-bit address? So whenever you see in your computer, if I give IP config, here you can see there is an IP address for my computer 192.168.0.102. So there are 4 different octets or 4 different portions are there in this IP. We are having the example IP address is like this 192.168.0.102. This is the IP address which is assigned to my computer. Okay. So if you see here, the IP address will be divided into 4 different portions. Each portion is called as an octet. Each portion is called as an octet. So whenever we are discussing about the Terraform, Ansible, Docker and Kubernetes, there is no necessity of telling all these things. But why I am telling this, because you need to understand this CIDR. Whenever you are creating the VPC, you will be providing the CIDRs. So to understand the CIDRs, definitely you need to understand the IP addresses. Otherwise, I can simply say that just follow me and I can give 10.1.0.0/16. You can use the same cider block in your whenever you are practicing also. I can simply say that and I can go, but it is useless. So when you go to the company person will say that create a network with the CIDR 10.20.0.0/16. Then you will be saying that no, my faculty said only 10.21.0.0/16. I will be creating like that only. Then your job will be at stake. Okay. Anyways, coming back to the point. Sorry.
అంటే నెట్వర్కింగ్ మొత్తం చెప్తారా ఇప్పుడు సబ్నెటింగ్ అంటే ఏంటి ఏఆర్పి ప్రోటోకాల్ అంటే ఏంటి ఎలా కాల్ చేస్తాయి అన్ని చెప్తారా
చెప్పను అవన్నీ చెప్పుకుంటూ కూర్చుంటే నేను AWS
అదే నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు సార్
ఓకే బేసిక్స్ ఒకటే చెప్తాను సో when we are working with the IP address, here you can see each portion is called as an octet. So here you can see, so this is a 32-bit address. So bit address in the sense bits will be in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, so now there will be 32 bits in the entire IP addresses. IPv4 addresses, there will be 32 bits. So this is the first 8 bits, second 8 bits, third 8 bits and fourth 8 bits. So if you combine this 8 into 4, then you are going to get a 32-bit address. So why we are using only 32-bit? Because in the olden days, we used to have the processors that can process only the 32-bit addresses. So that's why the IP addresses has came with the 32-bit. Okay, now we are having the 64-bit processors, so which can process up to 128 bits also. So that's why we are using the IPv6 right now. So this is in 1970s and 1980s at that time I am talking. Okay, so now what we have done, So this IP address is divided into 4 octets, and each octet will have the 8 bits. So 8 bits in the sense starting from 00 or also 0.0.0.02, and the end IP address will be 255.255.255.255. Whether it is going to come or not, we'll discuss it later. So in every octet, you will have a range of numbers in the decimal format that's starting from 0 to 255. Okay, so in the first octet, you will have a number that ranges from 0 to 255. In the second octet, there will be a number that ranges from 0 to 255. Like that, in every octet, you will be having a number that ranges from 0 to 255 only. So if you see any IP address, there won't be any 256 number. You will be having the numbers that ranges from 0 to 255 only. Okay, if you can see any computer, any device, so the range will be 0 to 255 only. Okay, so now if there are 2 computers are available, let us understand if there are 2 servers are there. So now 2 servers are 2 computers. If they want to communicate with each other, then an IP address is required. So for example, 192.168.0.100 and 192.168 some I will give like 1.102. So these are the IP addresses that are assigned to computer 1, and this is the IP address that is assigned to the computer 2. Now my question is whether these IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network. Whether these IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network. So these computers, so this computer 1 and computer 2 belongs to the same network or different network. For example, if I have to ask you in a simple manner, two students are there. Student 1 who is attending to the AWS class and his enrollment number is AWS01, and there is a student 2 who is attending to the Python session and he is having the enrollment number as Python02. Okay, so now can you tell me whether these 2 students belongs to the same class or different class?
Different class.
How? Because of the enrollment number, you can simply say that they belongs to the different class. We humans have the brains, so we can understand it, but the computers are also nowadays are having the brains. But any which ways, the computers will have the brains to understand whether these 2 IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network. Is it possible for a computer to calculate? Do you understand the question? Is the computer is able to calculate that this IP address belongs to the same network, these 2 IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network? Is it possible for any computer to calculate that? Or
If
else,
there is a subnet mentioned, then yes, but in this case, probably not.
I am not went into the subnet mask. I know you know about the networking. I am asking the people who doesn't know the networking. Okay, so these computers will not have the brains to understand whether these IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network. Then there should be a criteria. There should be a what I can say a particular specification that will be deciding this particular IP address belongs to the same network. These 2 IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network, and that is called as a subnet mask. Okay. So now what is meant by a subnet mask? If you see any IP address, the IP address will not be there without any subnet mask. So if you don't have the subnet mask, the computer will not accept the IP address. Definitely, you need to provide the subnet mask. So now what is meant by subnet mask? Subnet mask is also a 32-bit address, which is helpful for segregating or else dividing the IP address into network portion and host portion. So if you see the IP address here, by defaultly, I cannot say that this particular IP address belongs to these 2 IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network. But when I provide the subnet mask, Okay, for example, the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and for this computer, the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. So if you convert the 255 into the binary format, so whatever the 255 number that you are seeing, this is in the decimal number format. So now what you have to do, you need to convert that decimal number format into the binary number format. So simply what you can do here is you can use the binary or else decimal to binary conversion. So if you see here 255, if I convert the decimal number into binary number, so we are getting 8 ones. So here 8 ones are there. So dot 8 ones, and there will be 8 zeros. 0 means single decimal number of 0 will represent the 8 zeros in the binary format. Like this. Okay. So in the subnet mask, whenever you see ones, so in the subnet mask, 1 represents network portion. Okay, network bit. 1 is a network bit in the subnet mask. Again, don't get confused. Not in the IP address. In subnet mask, 1 represents the network bit, and 0 represents the host bit. Now, what is meant by host? Host is nothing but the devices. Host is nothing but the devices like computers, mobile phones, printers, anything. Any device that is having an IP address is called as a host. So hosts are nothing but the devices, and network is nothing but the boundary in which the devices are going to be created. So now if you see here, so in the subnet mask, if you see, the first octet is completely the network octet. So the subnet mask will say to the IP address, so your first octet is the total network octet, and the second octet is also the network octet, and the third octet is also the network octet, and final octet is the host octet. Just like how you are going to give the roll numbers. So here you can see AWS 01, AWS 02, AWS 03. Okay, so here you can see AWS is called as a network portion, or else the class that the student is attending, and 01 is the his identity number, 02 is the another student identity number, 03 is the another student identity number. In the same manner, whatever the number that is available in the host portion, that is the identity number of your computer or else your device, and whatever the numbers that are there in the network portion, they are called as network bits or else network portions. Okay, so here you can see there are 3 network portions. By seeing the subnet mask, I can simply say that there are 3 network portion and 1 host portion is available. So whatever the number that is defined in the host portion, that is the identity of your computer. For example, there are 3 computers in your network. So 192.168.0.1 or else 0.100, 192.168, 192.168.0.101 and 192.168.0.102. So the subnet mask will be the same subnet mask. If I give 255, 255, 255.0, here also 255.0, here also. So like this. So this is the IP address and this is the subnet mask. So the subnet mask will tell the IP address. The first 3 portions of the IP addresses are the network portions, and the last portion is the host portion. So now if you see the second IP address also, the first 3 portions are the network portion and last portion is the host portion, identity of your device. So like that, if you see here, whenever we are saying 2 IP addresses here, 192.168.0.100 and 192.168.1.102. Now, can you tell me whether these 2 belongs to the same network or different network?
These are different network.
These are the different network. Any another answer? So in the both the IP addresses here, you can see the network portions are, so in the first 2 network portions are constant, are the same. That doesn't mean that they belongs to the same network portion. I mean same network. If you see the third network portion, here you are having 0 number and here you are having 1 number. So which means that these 2 IP addresses belongs to the different network. Okay, so whenever the computers are in the different network, they will not communicate directly. So we need to create a router, and with the help of router only the communication will happen. Again, that is entirely a networking concept. Any which ways, so whenever we are creating an IP address, the first things what you have to understand here is, so if the IP address is there, so definitely you need to have the subnet mask. Why we need to have the subnet mask? Because the subnet mask is the 32-bit address which will be helping the IP address to differentiate the network portion and the host portion. Without subnet mask, user or the computer will not be able to understand which portion of the IP address belongs to the network and which portion of the IP address belongs to the host. Again, I am repeating. So without subnet mask, it is difficult for the computer or the user to differentiate which portion of the IP address belongs to the network, which portion of the IP address belongs to the host. So to differentiate the network and host portion of the IP addresses, definitely we need to have the subnet mask. So now, for example, if I give the IP address in this format, 10.254, 255.255.0.0, 192.168, some 11.220 with the subnet mask 255.255.0.0. Now, can you tell me whether they belongs to the same network or different network? Whether these two IP addresses belongs to the same network or different network? I have provided the IP address and I provided the subnet mask. By looking into that, can you tell me whether they belongs to the same network or different network?
Same network.
Okay. Any another answers?
No, different network. 10, 11.
Okay, no problem. Any another answers?
Networks. Yeah, different networks. 10 is the different network, 11 is different network.
No. Okay. Thanks for the answers. But here you can see the subnet mask, how many network portions are there? The subnet mask is saying that the first two portions of the IP address are the network portions. So here you can see the first two portions are the network portions. So now if you see the IP addresses, the first two portions are the same only, no? And last two portions are the host portions. If last two portions are different, then that doesn't mean that they belongs to the different network. So depending on the host portions, so the network identification will be totally depending on the network portion, whether these two computers belongs to the same network or different network, that will be depending on the network portion only. Here inside the IP address, we are having the two network portion. As per the subnet mask is saying that there are two network portions inside this IP address. So here also in the second IP address also there are two network portions. So when you see the network portions, both the network portions are same. So that's why they belongs to the same network. In the previous example, whatever we have given, here you can see the first three portions are the network portions. But in this example, whatever the example that right now I have given, in this example, 10.254, this is the subnet mask. And the other IP address is 192.168.11.220. So if you see here there are three network portions. Here you are having only two network portions. So whatever the three network portions are there, in these two IP addresses, they are different network portions. But when you come to this IP address, they are the same network portions. So that's why these two IPs belongs to the same network and these two IPs belongs to the different network. So first of all, you need to identify the subnet mask. So very important for you. What is very important? So to understand the subnet mask. So if you understand the subnet mask, half of your what I can say identification of the network and host portion inside the IP address will be cleared out. So if you don't identify the subnet mask, then only the main problem will occur. So now if you see here in the top example, so there are three network portions. In the bottom example, there are only two network portions. So that is how we can differentiate the IP addresses. In the above example, the IP addresses belongs to the different network, and in the below example, the IP addresses belongs to the same network. Okay. Right. Now, up to here
Sorry,
it is
sir.
clear.
Sir, one doubt. In the above one, 192.168.0 below also, if it is 0, then only it will belongs to the same network,
Right. Right.
because of first three 255 and 255 both are matching. So absolutely IP address first 24 octets
24
should
bits,
be
not octets.
24
bits.
24 bits should be same.
Yeah.
Okay.
As per whenever you are seeing the subnet mask, you can identify that whether this belongs to the same network or different network. Okay. Right. So now I have to discuss about the subnetting also, but that is not required. So whenever I say 192.168.0.0 with the subnet mask 255.255.0.0. Now can you tell me, when we convert the subnet mask into the binary number format, I am talking to when we convert the subnet mask into the binary format, how many number of network bits we are going to get? When I convert the subnet mask into the binary format, right now the subnet mask is in the decimal format. If I convert the subnet mask into the binary format, how many number of network bits we are going to get? 16. So if you convert 255 into the binary number format, there will be 8 network bits in the first octet. Second octet also we will be having the 8 network bits in the subnet mask. So if you convert the subnet mask into the binary format, you are going to get like this. Okay. Mute yourself. Okay, like this you are going to get. So if you see, there are 16 network bits. So that's why here, if I have to represent the subnet mask in the slash value, I can simply represent /16. What is the meaning of /16? /16 is nothing but the subnet mask value. So if you see, to the /16 means 255.255.0.0. The other way how you can represent it as /16. For example, if I give the sub IP address or also the IP in the form of like this 192.168.0.0/24, then what will be the subnet mask? /16 represent the number of network bits inside the subnet mask. Here you can see there are 16 network bits inside the subnet mask, so that's why I can show it as 255.255.0.0. If I say /24, what will be the subnet mask?
255.255.255.0.
So this is the subnet mask. So if I give /8, 192.168.0.0/8, then what is the subnet mask?
255.0.0.0.
Okay, so this is the slash value. Whenever we are creating the VPC here, what is the slash value? See here, the CIDR block must be between the /16 to /28. So it should be in between the subnet mask that ranges from /16 to /28. So now what is meant by /16? 255.255.0.0. So that is called as /16. Now what is this /28 and what is this range /16 to /28? Okay, so now let me explain you in a simple manner. Now in this particular example, this is called as a network ID. This is called as a network ID. Why it is called as a network ID? So another simple example. Any student will have a roll number like AWS00. Have you ever seen the student is having the roll number 0 in the sessions? Normally, if you want, you can put, but in general, any student will have any roll number that starts with 0. In general, it will be starting with the natural number that starts with 1. Okay, so it won't be starting with 0, no? So when it is 0, then it represents the class. So the student is attending the AWS session. In the same manner, here, if the host portions are having the zeros, then that is called as a network identifier. Network identifier in the sense the first network IP which will be identifying the network. So if you see here in this example, so when I give 255.255.0.0, the meaning is that So this is the network ID. Why? Because all the host bits, all the host portions of the IP address are in 0. So if you try to assign the IP address in your computer also, the computer will not accept it. So let me try to assign the IP address to my computer. 192.168.0.0 with the IP address. When I give like this with the subnet mask 255.255.0.0, if I click OK, what it is saying? The combination of IP address and subnet mask is invalid. All the bits of the host address portion of IP address are set to 0. So this is very important. All the bits of the host address portion of the IP address are set to 0. So whatever the host address bits are there, everything is set to 0. So this IP cannot be assigned to your computer. So then it is called as a network identifier. So this is the network identity or else network ID. So there is one more IP, that is 192.168.255.255.255.0.0. So if you see here, this IP also cannot be assigned to your computers or else to the devices. It is called as broadcast ID. It is called as a broadcast ID. So the first IP address in the network is called as a network ID, and the last IP address is called as a broadcast ID. So if you see here, what is happening? All the host bits are converted into ones. So that's why this IP address is also not acceptable by your computer. So if you see, (192.168.255.255), if I give like this, then what will happen? It will say that the combination of IP address and subnet mask invalid. All of the bits in the host address portion of IP addresses are set to 1. Previously, it is saying that it's set to 0. Now it is saying that it is set to 1. So please enter a valid combination of IP address and subnet mask. So if the host portion is having completely zeros, then that IP will not be acceptable by your devices. So that's why it is called as a network identity. If all the host portions of the IP address belongs to ones, then that is called as a broadcast ID. This IP address is also not acceptable by your devices. In between that, whatever the IPs are there, 192.168.0.1, 192.168.0.2. So like that, you can have 192.168.0.255. After this, what is the IP address that you are going to get? Whether we are going to get the 256 number. So in the networking, 256 number will not be there. So then what will happen? 192.168, 1.0, and then 192.168, 1.1. So like that, the IP addresses are keep on increasing up to the last one will be 192.168.255.254. So this is the last IP address, last acceptable IP addresses for your devices. So this is the range of your IP addresses. Okay. Now you understand this clearly. So now the point is, if you have given with this particular network range, so the network engineer came to you or else the cloud architect came to you and said that this is the CIDR. Okay, so actually that is classless inter-domain routing. So what is the full form of CIDR? Means classless inter-domain routing. It is a very big topic, subnetting, FLSM, VLSM, all these things I have to discuss, but that is not the agenda of this today's session. So now if you see here, we are having 192.168.0.0/16. So /16 means you will have 255, 255, 0.0. So total how many host bits will be there in the subnet mask? Total number of host bits. How many host bits will be there in the subnet mask? Here you can see this is the network portion. These two are the network portion. So total 16 network bits are there. So how many host bits are there?
16 again.
16 host bits are there. So total 16 host bits are there. So now if you want how many servers can be accessed inside this network means 2 power h minus 2. So what is h here? H is total number of host bits. So how many host bits are there? So total 16 host bits are there. So 2 power 16 minus 2. So the value will be 65,536 minus 2. That is 65,534 devices. So if you are having a VPC, if you are creating a VPC with the CIDR 192.168.0.0/16, which means that inside that VPC, excuse me, inside that VPC you can create 65,000 devices. So now I will go with the subnet calculator. Subnet calculator. This is the good. Let me check this once. This is all the CCNA kind of topics. Let me check this. For example, what I can say, there is an IP address here 192.168.0.0/16 is there. How many devices I can create? See there, the starting range is 192.168.0.0. The network identity is 192.168.0.0. The usable range is 192.168.0.1 to 192.168.255.254. That is what I have said here. And then total number of host bits will be total number of hosts. How many hosts you can use? 65,536 hosts will be there. Usable will be 65,534. The subnet mask is 255.255.0.0 and the binary subnet mask is there. And the CIDR notation is /value /16. Okay, so this is how you can calculate it. For example, if I give /17 means what will happen? So here you can see /17. So this entire network, whatever the 192.168.0.0 is there, that will be divided into two networks. Okay, so the range is 192.168.0.1 to 192.168.127.254. The second subnetting is 192.168.128.1 to 192.168.255.254. This is a little bit confusing. What is the meaning of this? So now we are having a very big network. We are creating a VPC, and inside the VPC we are providing the subnet mask with the range, or else the CIDR is 192.168.0.0/16. So which means that inside this VPC I can have some 65,000 servers can be running inside. We can run 65,000 servers. We are not going to run, but I'm just giving an example. Now, what is my requirement? For example, if you are having a city with 65,000 people is there. So if that city, in that city, if you are having a single police station, then is it possible to do the law and order, or else to maintain the law and order? Are you able to understand the question? There is a city. Inside the city, there are some 65,000 people are there, and there is only a single police station is there. So to manage the law and order for the entire 65,000 people, is it possible for a single police station? No. So now what I have to do, that city is now divided into small divisions. So those are nothing but like South division, North division, East division, and West division. Each division will have its own police station, and that can manage that. So which means that the entire city is divided into small divisions. In the same manner, whatever the VPC that you are seeing here, this VPC, if I want, I can divide this VPC into small subnets. Okay, so which means that this entire network will be broken into the pieces. So how many pieces you want? So the entire VPC, I want to convert that into the 2 pieces. So then what I can do, total number of subnets that I want from this particular VPC is 2 subnets. Then what I can do here is, now let us understand this clearly. So this is the network range provided by my cloud architect. Now he wants me to create 2 subnets. So how I can create that? The default subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Now, what is his requirement? His requirements is total number of subnets. Total number of subnets is equal to 2 networks he want. He want only the 2 networks. So when he wants 2 network, then what I can do here is, 2 power n greater than or equal to total number of subnets required. Total number of subnets required. So now, if you convert this subnet mask into the binary format, how it will be coming like? Five, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now 2 power n is there. So what is n here? N is total number of host bits that should be converted into network bits. So now if you see 2 power n greater than or equal to total number of subnets. How many subnets I want? Only 2 subnets from the very big network, whatever the big network that I am having. From this big network, I want only 2 networks. So how I can create 2 networks? 2 power, what is the n value? So how much value if I substitute, then it will satisfy the condition. What is the nearest value that I have to substitute to satisfy the condition? If I give 2 power 1, so what is the value of 2 power 1? 2. So 2 is greater than or equal to 2. Condition satisfied?
Yeah.
Condition is satisfied. So as the condition is satisfied, how many number of host bits should be converted as the network bits? How many number of host bits that should be converted as the network bits? One host bit only, no. N is the total number of host bits that should be converted into network bits. So how many host bits should be converted as a network bits? Only one host bit should be converted as a network bit. So the default subnet mask is this. And the new subnet mask will be like this. Okay. So what is the new subnet mask value? 255.255.128.0. Okay. So this is the new subnet mask. So what is the slash value here? How many network bits are there?
8. 8
network bits. 8, 8 and 1. So total 17 network bits are there. Total 17 network bits. So whenever I give slash 17, the meaning is 255.255.128.0. If you see here, slash 17 means 255.255.128.0. Okay. So now total how many host bits are there? In a network, how many hosts I am going to get is total number of host bits is 8 plus 7, 15 host bits are there. Okay. 15 host bits are there, 8 host bits and 7 host bits. Total 15 host bits are there. So simply what you can do, 2 power h minus 2 is equal to total number of hosts in a network, in a subnetwork, or else in a new subnetwork. In a new subnet. So what is the h value? H is total number of host bits in the new subnet mask. In the new subnet mask. So how many number of host bits are there in the new subnet mask? So total 15 host bits are there. Okay, total 15 host bits are there in the new subnet mask. So the value will be 2 power 15 minus 2. So what is the value? So that is 32,000 somewhere like you are going to get 389 somewhere nearly equivalent to that. Okay, so what is the value here is 65,536 divided by 2, 32,768. So these many number of devices I can configure inside a single network. Here you can see. So this range is called as that particular range. Okay. So for example, now how we are going to divide the range? It is so simple. 192.168.0.0. This is the first network. So where is the what I can say? Where is the number of bits that are having ones and zeros? In the third octet, we are having the ones and zeros are there. So simply what you have to do here is there is a constant 256 number is the constant number. You will be getting confused over here. Don't get confused. It is not required, but to understand it is very, very important. So divide it with total number of subnets. So how many total number of subnets are there? So simple, I am giving like a layman terms here. I am not talking about the technical terms. So in technicalities, it's a different strategy. I have to explain you more, but right now what I will do, 256 divided by total number of subnets is equal to 2. So divide this 256 with 2. Then you are going to get a value called as 128. Simply add 128 to the third octet. Why we need to add 128 to the third octet? Because in the third octet only I am having the combination of ones and zeros. This is not the actual technical explanation. Again, whoever are the network engineers, don't get offended. This is a simple layman terms I am saying. Okay, so now here this is the network range 192.168.0.0. This is the first network, and the second network is 192.168.128.0. So this is the second network. So if you see 192.168.0.0 is the first network, 192.168.128.0 is the second network. So this is how you are going to divide the very big network into small subnets. For example, if somebody asks me to divide the subnets into 16, so then what is the value I have to specify here? 2 power 4 is equal to, so 2 power 4 is equal to 16. So how many number of host bits that should be converted as network bits? So simply 4 host bits should be converted as the network bits. So here 4 host bits should be converted as a network bits. So the value is called as 192.255.250.240.0. In the slash value, if I have to represent, it is called as /20. Why it is called as /20? Because there are 20 network bits are there. So that's why it is called as /20. So total number of hosts per network is, so here we are having 4 plus 8, 12 hosts are there. So 2 power 12 minus 2. So 2 power 10 value is 1024. 2 power 11 is 2048. 2 power 12 is 42098, or also 1024, 2048, 4096, 4096. So per network, you are going to get 4096 number of devices. So now what you have to do, you have to divide the 256 with the 16. So total number of subnets is 16. So divide the 256, the default value, with the 16 number. So when you divide 256 with 16 number, then you are going to get a value. What is that? That is 16. So in the third octet, we are having ones and zeros. So just simply what you have to do is you need to add 16 in the third octet. So this is the first network. The second network is like this. And the third network is 192.168.32.0. And the fourth network is 192.168.64.0. And the fourth network will be 192.168.90.0. Like that, it will be keep on up to the 16 networks. So if you see here, I want, so total 16 networks. See there, 192.168.0.0, 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, 96. My mistake here. This is 80. Like that, you are going to get the 16 networks. Okay. So this is the /20. So if you see, each network will have the value called as /20. So which means that whatever the big subnet that has been given, that subnet is divided into small networks. So why I am explaining all this means, so whenever I am talking about the VPC configuration, so it is, so you need to understand this. Okay, so Chaitanya has provided the CIDR block as 10.21.0.0/16, which means that he will be creating the VPC with 65,000 devices. So when I create this VPC, look at there, the VPC got created with 10.21.0.0/16. Inside this, I am going to create a subnet. So when I try to create the subnet, so here you can see 10.21.1.0/24. /24 means from 65,000 devices, I am going to use 256 IPs. So in this example, we are going to get the 65,000 devices. From those 65,000, 536 devices. I am just using 256 devices in a single subnet, which means that I am dividing this particular network into small network. Each network will have the 256 devices. So that you need to understand. So that's why I am saying you all these things. Okay. So that's about the basic concept of your networking. So tomorrow when we start the Terraform, in the Terraform, we are going to provide the CIDR values. There you don't need to get confused. Okay. So this is very important, guys. So doing the subnetting. So if you don't want to do the subnetting, simply go to the subnet calculator. Use the internet. So do the subnet calculator. With the help of subnet calculator, you can calculate the subnets and you can divide the networks over there. So that is called as your subnetting concept. Okay. So that's about the concept of your subnetting. Okay. So don't worry. So this is not a very big concept to understand, but basically what we are going to do here is whatever the VPC that we are getting created, that VPC we are going to divide into small networks, and those networks are called as subnets. Okay. So these subnets will be used inside the VPC. So for the high availability and for doing the different configurations. Okay. So this we will see in the next upcoming sessions. Okay. So with this, I will wind up the session. If you have any questions, I know there are some people who doesn't get this concept very well, but that's okay. So why? Because we have a particular time limit. So I have to go through this. And I don't want to make you confused about this /16 and /20. Why you are giving /16? Why you are giving /20? So simply, I just want to tell you about the subnetting concept. I have explained you in this manner. Okay. So that's about your subnetting. So tomorrow we will discuss about the Terraform. Any questions here?
In Terraform, is it like maximum, I mean, related to mostly networking kind of is a major portion or?
No, it is not networking. See, in Terraform, whenever, let me show you a code over here so that you will understand. One second. So networking is not going to come anywhere, but any which ways it is recommended to have a basic understanding. So that's why I said you. So if you see the Terraform over here, so this is the code which I am writing to create the VPC. Here you can see VPC CIDR. So when I go to the Terraform TFRs, I have provided 172.20.0.0/16 and the subnets 172.21.0/24, 172.22.0/24. Like that, I have given the subnet ranges. So why I am providing these ranges? If you want to understand this, then you need to go through this networking concept. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So means with the Terraform, we can able to create VPC also, right?
That is what the code says.
So then we have cloud formation also, right? So
cloud formation is for AWS, not for Azure, not for GCP. You can use the Terraform for all the clouds. Cloud formation is a proprietary tool which will be used in the AWS environment only. Okay.
Got it. And sir, with this content, we can call this come under SRE?
Yeah, you can apply for the SRE also. SRE, you can apply for SRE, you can apply for the DevOps engineer. I just forgot to answer this. So if you go to the naukari.com, everyone will be searching there only, no?
Yeah.
So I will go with DevOps engineer. So I'm not going to select any experience here. So if you see here, for DevOps engineer, what they are requesting in the first place itself, you can see AWS core services they are requesting, and they are requesting the Terraform and CloudFormation. So Terraform or CloudFormation, preferred is Terraform only. Okay, so if you see another GCP DevOps engineer, here also they are asking for the Terraform Docker. Okay, so if you are applying for any DevOps engineer position, what is very, very important? Terraform, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, and Jenkins. So whatever we are going to cover in this sessions, this will be helpful for you to get a job as a DevOps engineer and as well as SRE, Site Reliability Engineer. So simply I will go with Site Reliability Engineer. So if you see, for SRE position also what they are asking for the CI/CD pipelines, logging, and as well as the ELK stack, Grafana, Prometheus, and they are going with the infrastructure as a code will be there. So like that, you can apply for the SRE position also. Okay, here you can see they are asking for the Kubernetes. Look at there. And here they are asking for the Terraform. Dynatrace is for the observability. Observability is different, monitoring is different. So Dynatrace, Kubernetes, these are all they are requesting for the site reliability engineer. So with the completion of this course, you can apply for the DevOps engineer position as well as the site reliability engineer position also, if you are having the knowledge on the cloud environment also. So there is a question mark here. If you are having the cloud knowledge, see, DevOps alone is not helpful for you to get the job, and the cloud alone will not helpful for you to get the job. So if you want to get a job, so 90% or else I will say that 60% of your jobs can be achieved by completing the DevOps. But you need to have the basic understanding about the cloud environment also. It might be any cloud. I won't say that you have to have knowledge only on the AWS. It might be AWS, Azure, or GCP. Okay, any cloud plus DevOps, which will be giving you the feasibility to crack the interview. Okay. But by completing this course, you can apply for the two positions, that is the DevOps engineer and the site reliability engineer. Okay. That is what I can say you.
Sir, I have one question, but in last I will ask. I don't want this to be get recorded, so if you stop recording, then I can ask.
Okay. The classes are completed. Anything else you can ask me now.